Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a server socket in Java. So in the last tutorial I showed you guys about how my Connect 4 app was working. And the next thing that I want to try and do with this project is I want to try and set it up so that we can have two players play on different machines. The first part of that is a whole load of things that come with that, but the first thing that I want to focus on is being able to connect to a central program called a server. So as you can see at the top, I have a server program here, and I'll kind of take you through kind of some of the stuff that that's doing, and then I'll take you through how to set it up on the client side, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. So from the client's perspective, what we need a socket. Now, sockets, what's the word I'm looking for? Sockets throw an exception. I can't remember the name of the exception, but they do. And the reason for that is you can't establish a server, you can't establish a socket if, I don't know, say the server's not switched on or you don't have an internet connection on your computer or your device. So there are a couple of different ways that the socket code won't work and will crash the computer. So as a result, it throws an exception. And in this event, all we're going to do is we're going to output to the user we're unable to make a connection. And that's just simply saying that there's something wrong either with the server or with your internet connection. Hopefully it won't happen. Fingers crossed, touch wood. Now, provided this goes well, okay, so we can establish a connection. Well, how do we actually do that? So the first thing we need is a socket. Now, sockets are a bit like internet cables, if you think about it. So the socket is like you plug it into your router, for example, and you make a connection, and all of the data goes down the cable. So this is kind of how I think of the socket. So we're setting up a connection between my program and the server socket, which I will show you in a bit once I learn how to type the word new. Okay, so we need to define an IP that this socket is going to point to. So we need to give it the details of the device that we're going to, if that makes sense. So sorry, it's not boring. I'm boring. That's not true, I think. So for testing purposes, this is going to run on my computer. I'm going to run the server, and I'm going to run the client program all on the same device. So we're going to pass it the local IP, which is 127.0.0.1. If this was on another computer, we might need to pass it a different IP address. It was just about you need to pass it the IP address of the device that your server is running on. This is just an exception because it's all being tested on one laptop. That's, I'm just using it on my little laptop, so it's not really something I need to worry about. And the port, I know the port number because I preset it in the other program. I'll talk to you guys a bit more about that later. So this is, we've built the socket and we're saying we want you to run a cable to 127.0.0.1 on port 9500. And what do we want to do? We want to accept. I hope it's accept. No, it's not accept. Hang on. I swear I know why. Wait, what? Is that not a thing? Maybe it's not a thing. I feel like that's just a connection. I want to say it's a connection. We shall see. So for now, that's all I'm going to do on the client side. As I remember more what I wrote, I'll talk you through that. I'll talk you through a bit more on the client side. But for now, that's everything we need, because we actually need to build the server socket on the server side so that we can actually test this. So here's one I made earlier. Most of this you can ignore for now. The bit that we're looking at is the server socket here. So the first thing, again, you'll notice it's in a try statement, because again, on the server side, if something goes wrong with the program, I don't know, like there's some sort of internal issue with the machine, or there's an internet issue, then the server socket won't be able to run correctly. So we need to put it in a try statement. You'll notice there isn't an IP because the server socket, the IP of it relates to the IP of the device. So it'll be given the IP of the device automatically. Again, since this is running on the same computer, 127.0.0.1 will work fine, but under normal circumstances, the IP of the device, so the IP that this will be auto-assigned, will match the IP of the device, and that's the IP you'll need to put in here. Again, like I said, this 127 is just a cheat code because it's running on the same device. So the next thing, you'll notice that we put it into a socket. So you have your server socket, you accept connections into your server socket, and then you pass them to a separate socket. And that's how you differentiate between different connections that are established on your server socket. The server socket is like the really big, everything gets plugged into the server socket, but then you differentiate it out into separate individual sockets. Okay, so that's how that's working. So just for simplicity, I'm pretty sure I just do that. Yeah, you shouldn't. No other code should run, hopefully. And this should just establish a connection. So if I run this, actually, hang on. Here's a way we can test this. So what we're going to do is there are a couple of methods that we can use in order to test that a connection's working. One of those is get port, although I think there's a better one actually. I might change that. So what we're going to do, just for the moment, we're just going to print out the details of the device that's connecting to us. And the reason for that is just to make sure that this is working. I feel like iNet address is better. To be fair, I can try a whole bunch of these and I'll show you what each one does. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to put it in my client program as well. I'm going to run the server first because the socket won't connect if the server socket isn't up. And then I'll run the client and we'll see if we get some details about the other device. So yeah, I'm going to need to switch to displays. Okay, so the server's up and running. Nothing's happened yet because no connections have been made. You'll notice this catch statement hasn't been triggered yet. So what's happening is that it's just waiting on this line for a connection to be made on port 9500. We're then going to make a connection by running the main class, which is our client program. If I run this, it didn't work. How fantastic! Right, okay, that's pretty cool. Let me see if I do that. Is it going to do anything? No. Okay. Cool. Hello, I'm back. Don't worry, I've fixed it. So the problem was, I'm not sure if you can. I hope you can see this. If I just lower this a little bit. So with me calling the constructor first, it went immediately into the game loop and it never actually established the connection. It would only establish the connection once the game was actually complete, and that's not really what we want. I think from memory, I established the connection within the constructor, so I never had this issue. So this code was never actually put in the main method. Originally, I put this code in the constructor down here. But it doesn't matter. I've got it to work. Well, kind of. I've got another bug, but I'll explain that to you in a minute. So if I run the server, everything's fine. I then run the client, and we get the INET address. If I, ooh, that's not supposed to happen. Why has that happened? Connection already in use. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, so what's happened is I have cocked up a little bit, and I need to put a close statement on the connection on the server side. And the reason for that is because, like you can see, I then end up with these errors because it thinks there's already a connection established on the server side. It's a bit of a mess, to be honest, but we'll fix it. It's fine. So if I switch and I'll run it again, and I'll show you the close statement and everything, and then we can. Okay, so in the previous program, as you can see, we have this ss.close. So that's closing the server socket. And I think what I've told you is wrong, actually, come to think of it. Because right at the start of this program, you'll notice there's the while loop. So what I think is happening is every time, what's going to happen is every time this program is run, first thing it'll do is it'll wait to establish a connection within the socket. It will then change that to a regular socket rather than a server socket, just because that's just the go-to on the server side. You build a server socket and then you set the socket equal to the server socket, and then you can do all the sockety type stuff that you want to do, like writing data, reading data, that kind of thing. And then further down, we close this server socket. And what I think is happening is because I commented out the ss.close, when it then loops back round, it's trying to establish a connection on the same port. And as a result, I think there's already a server socket running on the port. So if you run another one, it's gonna break. So it's like running it on a port. It's like running an application on a port. So you can't have multiple applications running on the same port. And I think that's why we're getting this huge stonking list of errors, which is very nasty and vile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the rest of this because it is just overcomplicating things. However, I'm going to put a close statement at the bottom down here because I think that's going to be quite important. So hopefully if I run this again, we won't get this huge list of red errors. Fingers crossed. Welcome back. I've just ran the server. I'm going to run the client now. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. This could totally blow up in my face. But I want to say that we're not going to have errors on the server side. And we are. Guys, I'm a genius. I am a genius. So why is this useful? Why have I got a while loop? Why do I need to close it? All this kind of thing. So what the while loop allows us to do, it allows for multiple connections to be made. Since the server socket is kind of, it's like, I've explained it in loads of different ways. I know it's really embarrassing, but I think from all this testing, my best description would be it's like a signpost, if you think. It's kind of like a door, kind of like a big, hey, look at me, this is where you connect kind of thing. But once it's in use, it can't be used again. And it doesn't actually help with the transfer of information. It's the socket that does that. The server socket is just imagine it's just some really overexcited, like, holiday rep or someone that's like waving at you, like, woohoo, I'm over here, going mental. That's what a server socket is. It's just trying to get the attention of the program. So the client program, knows what to connect to. Once that's done, it's still dancing and waving, but Well, no, hang on, no, it stopped dancing and waving. I guess going with my insane analogy, it stopped dancing and waving once the client, once the holiday rep engages with the client. It's like telling you about the holiday and stuff. That holiday rep isn't going to be able to serve any more customers. So another customer comes along and the holiday rep's no longer waving. And the customer's like, well, what the hell do I do? And the customer's like, like knocking on the door, like, oh my god, like I want to have a holiday. Da, 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 da. I don't really know how holiday reps work, to be fair. I think that's the main takeaway from this story. But the point is that the client will be getting frustrated because no one's serving them, and that is because the holiday rep thinks they're dealing with a client. So what you have to do is you have to trash the holiday rep, get a new one, and then hey presto. Because at the moment, every time a new client comes in, the receptionist, that's the while loop. So the receptionist says, "Oh, sorry, all our clients are busy. Oh, sorry, all our clients are busy." You get this big error. Sorry, all of our holiday reps are busy. Get the big error. Da 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 da. But then if you just sack off the holiday rep and you just make another one, and then look, we've got a free holiday rep, and that happens every single time a connection to the server is established. The only thing that's going to then break it from there is if you just have too many connections and your computer can't cope with it. But from our point of view, from a programming point of view, we can have as many connections as we like. It's just a case of what will the hardware allow, which is pretty neat. Again, just a little caveat to that: don't go crazy. If you establish like 100 connections to your server, you're probably going to crash your computer unless you work at Microsoft. If you work at Microsoft, you really should not be watching my tutorials. But yeah, okay. So in order to demonstrate this, I really hope if I close this program, this is okay. Boom. Okay, so we've dealt with a connection. The program's still live. Another customer comes along, and boom, it's been serviced. We sacked off the holiday rep. We've got a new holiday rep. The receptionist says, "Come in right away." Fantastic. It works. I'm gonna jostle around the code a little bit. I'm gonna put the server connection within the constructor, and then I'm gonna use my demo class to call the constructor of the main class, so I can have two clients. I can show you that two clients can connect at the same time. So yeah, I'm going to show you that now. Hello, welcome back again. I promise you, I haven't cheated. My server is still running. It hasn't crashed, even though I've terminated the client application twice now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the socket. I'm going to put it in my constructor. And then once I've done that, oh my god, the indentation is awful. Oh, what's it done? I hate this so much. I actually think as well that I think I'd put my my catch statement after the main game execution. So I think I'm going to do that now just to make things a bit easier for myself. I put that there. Oh no, it's not happy. Oh dear, it's not happy. It has kicked off. It's because I put it in the wrong place. There we go. It's all fine now. Okay, so the socket connection, on the client application has now been moved to the constructor, and that is because I can now call the constructor from my test multiple connections. Little bit of advertising for you. This is the code from my tutorial 6 when I talk about while loops. So if that's of any interest to you, go and check out that video as well. If it doesn't, then cool, just carry on watching this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write, basically I'm going to write the exact same line from, I'm just going to copy and paste it. Because all this is doing, this line is simply calling this method. It's creating a new instance of the main class. It's creating an object of it. So I believe if I copy this line and I run this, it will establish a connection to the server. And I'll show you that now. Okay, so the main class is running. We have a third connection to the server. Like I said, the server has been running the entire time I've been talking, so it hasn't crashed. Now, if I run test multiple connections, boom, we now have two simultaneous connections to the server. Again, this isn't very useful at the moment because we're not actually writing any data to the server. However, this will become apparent in the future when we can play multiple games simultaneously, and the server basically acts as a junction, relaying the information from one client application to another. So hopefully, the plan is that this is kind of the setup that I will have. I'll have the server running whenever anyone wants to play. I'll boot up the server ahead of time. All they need to do is then run their main class, and as a result, I run mine, or their opponent, or whoever it is that's playing them runs theirs. I have two of these running, two client applications, the server in the middle, and the server is just acting as sort of a signpost directing information between the two clients so that they can play a game of Connect 4 over the internet. I hope this has been useful. I realise it's been really higgledy-piggledy because my code didn't work. I promise I know what I'm talking about, I swear, because it does work now. So, I hope this has been useful to you. I'm still trying to figure out kind of how to do these videos. Like, honestly, like, it is difficult. Like, I thought this was going to be a walk in the park, and I could just like post up some crap about Java, and people would be like, "Oh wow, it's so interesting." It's like, no. There's a whole thing to like presenting the content, like thumbnails and like what's it called, titles, and like marketing your content is really difficult. So if anyone's got any feedback of how my videos, what they think of my videos, how they think they're going, if they've got any pointers, anything that I can use to make my content better, that would be really appreciated because I am appalling at this. If not, and you just want to copy and paste on my code, go for it. And I'll hopefully see you back for the next one where we're going to be improving our server's capabilities.